On today's video, we're going to look at a way to install operating systems on any device, and even if you have a broken disk drive or whatever, CD drive, or it doesn't boot from USB. So what I have here is it's a USB to SATA or IDE converter. So we have our power box. It comes up to basically a splitter. And on one end you have SATA, other end you have IDE, and this one in particular comes with a little barrel jack, and it's handy. You have switches. You can shut off different drives if you want to. On the actual data side of it, it comes with this. It's basically a USB cable. Plugs in your PC or whatever, and it has it's got a SATA port and two different IDE ports on it, and that's super handy. You plug it in and it turns on. You can tell which it's connected to. And I used to use this actually to USB boot my old Raspberry Pi 3 when that first came available, when they did that firmware update for it. It worked intermittently because sometimes this thing is slow to turn on, especially if you have an old hard drive, and it would sometimes time out on that Raspberry Pi and give me issues. So this cable has been around for forever. It's actually my dad's old cable, but he never uses it, and basically gave it to me because I'm always doing videos and repairs for different people. I had a version of this cable, a newer one, USB 3, and it broke. So what we're going to do today is take the hard drive out of this guy, this laptop, and we're going to connect it to here, and we're going to install Windows 98 on the hard drive with a virtual machine. With the hard drive pulled out of the laptop, it goes right in front of the LEDs in the front. You don't have to remove the battery, but it kind of does make it easier. It's sitting in its little tray and connected over the cable. This one doesn't actually use the power, but it's plugged in, and it will show up 6 GB volume with the current Windows 98 install on it. So it's now connected to my computer, and I can proceed with reinstalling. So the way that this video has worked out, I already had installed Windows 98 on that little hard drive. So what I'm going to do is basically go through the process using a different hard drive. I don't want to have to reinstall it on the little hard drive again, but we will do it on the big one, and it's going to be basically the same process. So to start, you need to make sure that your hard drive is actually connected to your computer. So what you can do is go Files, look up your file manager, see 500 gigabyte volume connected. Yeah, it's on there. So I don't think it matters exactly what you have it formatted as, but I have it formatted as NTFS. So let's go disks. Yeah, NTFS 500 gigabytes. This is actually a hard drive, ironically, out of a set-top box. So they actually, interestingly enough, tend to be very actually high-quality hard drives. I was surprised, but anyway. So if you want to start, let's go over G Manager. You do have to submit your password. What you do is you'd open it up and local install media. So that's if you have a file like a ISO or even a hard drive or CD-ROM, whatever you want. But that's what you want to choose. You could go choose ISO or CD-ROM install media. Browse local, and you would go to, I think it's home. Yeah. So I have Microsoft Windows 98. I got that from let's go. I don't think this is actually being broadcast on the screen here. Let's
One World PC. Oh. So One World PC. I've heard about this website a few times, but they have a lot of different software you can install. So yeah, you got a whole bunch of old Windows and DOS and old Linux stuff, Mac OS, and there's a whole bunch of different random operating system stuff here. But I had downloaded 98 and second edition, and they have a whole bunch of different downloads you can do. So I just went OEM. I think I went OEM full. I might have just went. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it went OEM full. But anyway, that you can go to Vert Manager and you can get your Windows 98 second edition. My laptop's a little bit weird with the formatting, but open it and it's none detected, so you uncheck this. And you can just go. You want to just go generic OS. It tells you that it's like not supported or something weird, but it doesn't matter. So you go forward. You can set your specs. This is more than enough for Windows 98. Go select your create custom storage, manage, and you go browse local, and yeah, I think it's this. But so I've had it weird where it doesn't, like I've just seen back there, it doesn't let me open this hard drive. So what you would want to do is you need to find your path. So so what you want to do is figure out your path to your hard drive. So what you could do is then you could go, I think it's DF. And so it says, you can see, you can roughly guess about the size, but media laptop, that's normally where stuff gets mounted to. So it's dev SDB1 is what I'm pretty sure it is. And you can kind of tell that with, there's multiple different ways to do that, but you can go cancel, and then, I don't know. And it'll say you can go forward and SDB. You can go customize the configuration before install, and you can go finish. What I like to do is boot option. So lets you can have this enable boot menu. That's very handy to have. And you can enable your CD drive. Yes, I forgot about that. So one of the things I noticed that's really handy is when you're in this configuration screen here, you can change what device boots first as well. That's super handy when if you miss like the key, the BIOS key, and then it ends up booting on a hard drive that has no operating system. So that's super handy to have. Okay, so I think we're good to go. So the one thing I just noticed is that I was having problems getting it to boot the virtual machine. I realized I needed to extract the ISO. I couldn't use just the zip with the ISO inside of it. It had to be the actual ISO itself. So that's why I was having problems getting the virtual machine to boot. I don't know why I had that brain fart, but I did. And up at the top of the screen there's a begin installation. And let's go down to boot from CD-ROM. Start Windows 98 setup from CD-ROM. That is what you want to do. So this is super handy to do this. You don't have to go and find a hard drive, or maybe your machine doesn't work or whatever, or you're having problems. You can do this. You can also test if your ISOs are going to work, because you don't even need a hard drive for this. You could technically just use your storage for your computer temporarily and then delete it out when you're done. But So it'll install. I don't think I'm gonna make a video of the whole install process. That's kind of pointless. There's lots of videos out there about installing Windows 98, but this is kind of how you do it. Yeah, let's remove that. I didn't last time because I'm having issues with it, not working properly. So I'm like not going to use large disk support, even though this is a 500 gigabyte hard drive. So I have gotten it to start up. So welcome to Windows 98 setup. Congratulations, these are Windows 98 setup. Quick continue. So preparing the Windows 98 setup wizard. So it doesn't actually take 30 to 60 minutes. It's going to take you probably closer to 20 minutes. You really don't have to. It doesn't really take very long to do it on a virtual machine. So you should be ready in a few minutes. Yeah, if your mouse gets stuck, sometimes if you realize that you click, just press Control L and then Alt, and it'll unlock your mouse. Yeah, now my mouse is out of the virtual machine. You can see it's not using. Well, it kind of is. But normally, when you're actually booted up and running just the virtual machine and not doing the install process, it actually barely uses any resources and super snappy. But yeah, you basically just follow through your normal Windows 98 install. Lots of guides. I'll find a guide. I'll link it in the description of the video, and you can figure your way through it. I don't think anyone's really going to be that interested in watching yet another Windows 98 install video, but yeah, it is. You can see it's going pretty quick. There's a lot of available disk space. So there's different versions you can install, but this is going to be a laptop that I'm particularly installing this for, as you know. I did custom last time, and I don't know if maybe that kind of screwed me in the long run, because maybe it didn't include some of the drivers that would have worked better with a laptop. So I'm not sure, but if I was going to do this again, I'd probably go portable, just in case. It says you can show me a list of the most components I can choose. I don't know. I feel like most of these you probably won't really need, because I don't think anyone's gonna be trying to use Windows Internet Explorer, Internet Tools. Who knows? Maybe we'll keep those, but you get a whole bunch of different things you can put on here. But yeah, you can basically just normal generic Windows 98 install. So with the all the stuff from World PC, you have to you do need a key, a product key. So you can find them on various spots, but that's just something to remember, that if you're downloading it, you're gonna have to find one of these. So there it is. There's our Windows 98. It just finished booting up. We don't want that to show up every single time. Yeah, we have Windows 98 on our desktop. Well, not our desktop, on our hard drive that's connected over USB on a laptop. So much nicer to use this with a mouse. I kind of want to see what it says. I've never run Windows 98 one of these VMs before, so. Interesting. Yeah, it's on our hard drive, and that's basically what I did for the laptop hard drive. Was basically set it up the exact same way this was. I'm not sure why it says it only has 1.72 gigabytes. I'm not sure why that is. So it's a 500 gigabyte hard drive. You can kind of see over here. Let me 500 gigabyte volume. Yeah. So I'm not sure why it says that, but maybe it wasn't able to access more of the hard drive. But yeah, so now theoretically, you know, if you had an older computer, say something with 95 or 98 or even XP, even if you don't have your disk drive is broken or something and you need to install the operating system, this is a very good way to do it. And if you needed to go and install the drivers, you could come back along later and do that with like a DVD drive or something like that. I tried using a USB drive, DVD drive, to do some of the drivers updates, because when it was doing its first boot up for Windows 98 here, it needed it wanted to set up all the hardware, it needed drivers. But because this laptop doesn't have a physical CD drive, I was trying to use USB CD drive and it didn't want to work with that. So, but this is a good install that you can use on another machine, and that's what you're going to see on the laptop in a minute. But anyway.
Okay, so I just popped the hard drive in to the laptop, plugged it in. It should work. I got it to work and run. I booted the hard drive in virtual machine and it worked just fine, but I haven't stuck it on the laptop yet, so this is my first time. So let's start her up. Just hold that little power button on the side. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the disk drive to work, but we will see. Oh, it's working. It seems to be working. Hindsight, I should have turned the light on. Make it a little bit easier to see. vnet bios.vxd. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. She's starting up. There we go. It works. Let's let's see. Let's go and navigate through everything, and there we go. Still getting used to the finger mouse. It's not really something I use very much. My main laptop I use has one. I never use it. I just use a USB mouse. But yeah, some people would probably be screaming. They're like, "You are the most inefficient person using this," but navigating through the menus. But I'm holding the camera with my right hand. It's my normal hand. But yeah, Pentium 1 and 32 megabytes of RAM. Windows 1998 second edition. Windows 98 logo there. Device manager. My phone battery just died, so I was in the middle of recording, and suddenly screen goes black and it reboots or shuts down on me, and I'm like, oh crap! I wasn't aware the battery was so low, but yeah. So hopefully I didn't lose the footage I just recorded. The past like 5 minutes of footage, but yeah. we'll see. So you can see right here, all the drivers I'm gonna need to install. Yeah, let me give me a sec. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that needs to get installed, but it'd be nice to get the CD drive to work. Like right now, it's working. Pop open. Got my courtesy of One World PC. I have installed disk. You can see when I burned it. But so right now the CD drive is actually closing and staying shut. That's a benefit. But yeah, so Windows 98 and the hard drive space blows my mind how small the hard drive space is. Yeah, I don't know if that showed up on the video, but I think you might be able to hear that. It's definitely making a lot of clunky noises. I'm not sure why. I don't think I did anything to it, but it just started doing that. I started trying to do that a couple weeks ago when I was trying to use it. So it was booting like Tiny Core and Windows XP just fine. Yeah, until it's not ready. But it was booting Windows XP and Tiny Core, and it was it worked. And then I go to install Windows 98, and it decides to crap the bed. So let's properties. Yeah. I find it so interesting that this operating system is so small, it's only used up 231 megabytes. But there we go. Windows 98 reinstalled on the Toshiba satellite. So